Okay, happy Friday. It's September 10th, and I've got some really good stuff to tell you guys about. We're going to be talking about 3 questions you need to be asking right now if you are planning on listing your home. Doesn't matter where you are, by the way. It could be anywhere in the country. It could be in Florida, it could be in the villages, it could be in Ocala, it could be anywhere in Florida, anywhere around the country. These are questions. They're not the only questions to ask, but 3 questions that maybe you may not be thinking about when you're thinking about listing your home. So we'll talk about that today. We're also going to go over the 7-day numbers. So let's talk about that, and I'll bring that up. Actually, new listings, 19 new listings on the market. And as you guys know, the people that have watched this show for a while, I've been doing this for like 18 plus months. You know that that's not a lot. That's a little shy on how many properties are coming on the market. Typically we've seen quite a bit in the past. Like we've seen some properties that we've seen some numbers like um, 43. We've seen in the 40s. We've seen in the 50s in the past. We've seen in the 60s, and now we're seeing some lower numbers, right? So let me share the right screen with you. One of these days I'll get this correct. So looking at this, let's pull this up. I want to make sure that you guys see this because that's important. Here it is. So 19 properties, new listings on the market last 7 days in the villages. Looking at no expired listings, 30 closed properties, and 8 back on the market, 14 price increases, meaning that people have pushed the envelope on pricing, and 41 pending properties, 41 under contract. So essentially what we're seeing is just give you a little bit of analysis because I'm in a unique position of getting people's questions because I'm the broker here at Realty Executives in the Villages and in Ocala, and people ask me questions about about what to do here, or here's a situation, how do I navigate this, how can we help a client here, that type of thing. And overall what I'm seeing is properties are coming on the market and then leaving pretty fast. So nothing is staying on the market long, and that's why we're not building up in inventory. Because if you look at the inventory numbers, pretty much the last 5 to 6 days, this week, right after Labor Day, we've seen we saw a little bit of an increase in inventory. We've fluctuated between the upper 60s, about 68 now to 78, and somewhere in between. So it's flown, it's flowed between 68 and 78, and I think now it's 73 properties, something of that nature. But you can tell this is the temperature of the marketplace. This gives you a really good idea what you're seeing here, right? So if you have some comments as well, please leave some comments. And if you have questions about, how come there are not more new properties or more price decreases, or how come we're not seeing more sold properties, you can ask that as well. But this really gives you an idea of, what we're really seeing in the marketplace. It's indicative of what we're seeing over the last couple of months, which is, lots of bananas homes selling like crazy first part of this year, and then slowed down a little bit over the summer, which is typical anyway here in the villages, but probably a little bit more of a slowdown because everybody was on vacation. Then people started going back to school around the country. I think everybody's now in school, even up in the Northeast. And because of that, we've seen a little bit of a pickup in the volume of buyers that are out there. So definitely very encouraging for both sides. I think we're seeing, we'd like to see a little bit more inventory, but inventory is sufficient enough. It's just leaving the market quicker than maybe a buyer would like, but definitely a few days is what we're seeing, 6, 7 days on the market. But the 3 questions, I really want you to think about this. I want you to think about these 3 questions when you're thinking about selling your home. One is, give me, like, you've got a realtor in front of you, they're sitting at your kitchen table or in the dining room, and what are you going to ask them? And from my training experience and from my experience working with buyers and sellers, I think, what differentiates a special realtor versus another? We've talked about in the past, there is obviously a difference between realtor and, agent in the villages. Agents are working for the developer. They're not part of NAR. They don't have to abide by the NAR, National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics. We do as realtors. But, what makes one realtor versus another realtor or an agent different? Is definitely a question. And I've been thinking about this a lot and talking to a lot of my people. I'm always amazed by the stories they tell me about some of the things that they do. For instance, I had lunch with one of our realtors this afternoon and over at Glenview Country Club, and we were talking about, what she does different. And one of the things that she does different is she'll go the extra mile. But what does that mean? A lot of people will say, okay, I'll go the extra mile for you. And in her case, she gave me a story of how she actually, helped someone put in a light bulb over the oven area. And it wasn't just simply removing a light bulb, but the microwave had to be removed. And there was this whole process where she had to remove the microwave and put in the light bulb. And it was just like, oh my gosh, she did all this stuff. And it's very much like her to do that type of thing. And many of our realtors are just like that. They're going to go above and beyond. They'll paint, they'll sweep, they'll clean. Like, it's unbelievable. So, not that you're going to have them do that, but it's nice to know that if something is necessary and you're not in town, they'll make sure that it's taken care of one way or the other. They'll get it done, right? Get the job done. But what does that really mean? So I think as part of the question that you can ask if you're a seller is, what have you done in the past to exemplify going the extra mile? That would be a question I would ask. The second question I have here is, what are you going to do specifically to maximize the price for this home, and or what are you going to do specifically to make this a smooth and easy transaction / transition for our family? Like, what are you going to do specifically to maximize our profit, maximize our price, and or what are you going to do to make this a smooth transaction? And give me some examples of how you've done that in the past, just like you would ask the potential realtor you're interviewing. How have you gone the extra mile? Tell me some stories about that. What does that really mean? As opposed to just taking people for their word and saying, okay, by the way, I think these are questions you can ask any vendor, by the way, not just realtors, but going really specific and going a little bit deeper into how they've helped people, how they've gone the extra mile, how they've made something really smooth for a past client. Makes a lot of sense. Third question I have here is a real obvious one, which I think a lot of people might use, which is, tell me more about your track record, or tell me about your company's track record. Tell me about your track record or your history. Obviously, a testimonial referral would be helpful. If they've got a video testimonial, that'd be nice. But a company track record is super crucial. And obviously, we've got a long track record here in the villages. We've been actually, and Ocala for that matter, we've been in both markets since 2004. We've been number one in this marketplace in the villages for many, many years. Actually, almost since the beginning, since like 2005. So we've got a long track record of selling thousands and thousands of homes. We're still number one in MLS sales, but ultimately that doesn't mean anything. Stats are great, numbers are great. Yes, you've got a track record, but how you've helped people in the past, I think, is probably speaks volumes. So those are the three questions I would ask. If you have questions or you have comments about maybe some other questions you've asked realtors, just leave it in the comments section. That'd be great. And if you would subscribe, that'd be fabulous as well. That way you're going to be notified of any new videos I do along the way. Happy Friday, everybody. And of course, Buy Sell the Villas is our website. And if you have questions for me, you can call me anytime, 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. And the broker here at Realty Executives. All right, take care. Have a great weekend, everybody.